Welcome to All Aboard with Ned.
This is bedtime for Daddy.
Nice.
Adam.
I hate hearing me scream that. It's
and LK.
I'm annoyed.
Boy, and let California ain't nobody call me cowboy, baby. With the top that and the sunshine shining, cowboy, baby.
All right, another episode of All Aboard. I'm fucking tired. I don't know why you guys asked me to fucking open the show today, but choo-choo. Let's do it.
I love the energy, LK.
Look,
I love the energy.
okay, we're tired, but this is gonna drop like some night when no one's tired. So I'm gonna be a little bit more enthusiasm.
I'm fucking tired. I told you guys I didn't want to record tonight, and you guys made me. So
yeah,
angry LK.
I've had a long day too.
I'm fucking pissed at work, and if Adam says something stupid, I'm gonna call him out today. I don't care.
We're all gonna fight today.
Let's hear you tell us how you're in a mood.
I just left a 8-hour meeting with my team.
8 hours?
8 hours, yeah.
An 8-hour video call?
Yep. Video call. Yes, exactly. Welcome to the new world.
I mean, I just feel bad for them having to listen and try to understand what you're saying for 8 hours. I
mean, yeah, it's ridiculous. But, they have a live transcription, and the machine learning is pretty good. So they pick up my... Good. No, English. Actually, Spanish to English, right? So
there you go. There you go.
Anyway, assholes, as I was saying, where should we start? I'm going to start talking about what's going on with KMS, right? I heard Ned and Adam wants to criticize Kirk. I would never. I think he was right on his comments.
I would never, ever criticize Kirk.
I will support his comments on Blind Mike. Whenever he talks about it, 100% Kirk's camp here. But I think you guys have a problem with what he said, right? So let's talk about it.
No, I don't. I actually am firmly in Kirk's court with this. And first of all, I just want to quickly say howdy to you both. It's always nice to say howdy, partners.
Howdy.
We're all a bunch of cowboys here. I think we. I think we all enjoyed that video of a gopher with that cowboy song that we just watched. But yeah, I mean, I actually completely agree with what Kirk was talking about, and obviously what we're referring to is the big news of whether or not Kirk should be best friends with Blind Mike. A lot of people were talking about how he was best friends with Jerry and how he was friends with the producers there. But I mean, EEI and Barstool, Kirk has such different roles. I mean, EEI, he was an on-air talent. He was an employee, and Jerry was his colleague. It used to be Jerry's show, and I know that kills Ned in every way.
No, but I like how it ended. So,
but here, this is his podcast. It's his name only. He is the one who. If you look at if you go based on what they've talked about with the financials, the money from Barstool to KMS goes to Kirk's pocket. Everything that is done, so Steve's salary, Mike's salary, the overhead, the studio, all that, yes, all of that comes out of Kirk's pocket. At least a large percentage of it. So he is the boss and the owner of KMS. He is their employer, and to me. I don't know about you guys. I've never been friends with my coworkers, let alone my bosses. I mean, you got to keep a separation of church and state there.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ned.
Because first of all, who spread this lie that I was against Kirk's stance on that? I'm actually.
I just want to try to.
Oh, you're starting to stir the pot.
Okay. LK's just trying to do his best to appease Menners and
exactly. It's pulling Menners.
Yeah, try to pull a Manners here.
Yeah. No, it's too late. It's too late in the day. We're all too tired.
I know.
So we're gonna get a 12 out of 100 score from Manners right now.
Yeah,
maybe
exactly.
Probably now out of spite it'll be a 9.
I'm happy if it's gonna be a 9. Yes, 9 is good.
In all seriousness, though, you can't. Okay, let's back up a little bit. What I've always said in defense of Kirk is that Jerry never saw him as a friend. Jerry's only out for him.
Okay.
What is it?
Oh God.
Jerry's always been out for himself.
Yep.
He's never been, okay, yes, he went to both Kirk's parents' funerals. Yes, that they kind of bonded over that. But he was never a friend, ever.
Yep.
Kirk was his meal ticket. Yep. Kirk, on the other hand, is dead loyal. So he probably misinterpreted Jerry's relationship as friendship. It never was friendship. No way. It ends with the business relationship. And to be honest, whether you're in a boss, a supervisor, a manager, and subordinate role, you can't be friends. One day you're going to fire that person. That person's going to, if they think they're friends, they're going to overstep the manager and employee line, probably inadvertently, but because you're friends. And I think maybe we've all been in that situation where you had a boss that wanted to be your friend, and it never really works out well, and it doesn't really last.
So
not through any bad intent, but no, he's absolutely 100%. He has to be. It's not a matter of boss and the power. It's like, hey, look, it's his show. He has to manage it the way he sees fit. He is underwriting most of it. I do think Barstool pays for Steve. I think Barstool covered a little bit of, might be, but it is his. But bottom line is, it's his show. It's his. Whatever they pay him comes out of his pocket to support that show.
Yep.
So he's going to have to. He should keep a distance. Also for his own mental health, you keep a distance.
Yep. So here's I want to talk about two things in regards to this subject. First is I didn't understand when he said, "Hey, I want to keep them at arm's length." I had to listen to the show, and then I finally got that he didn't want to have a close relationship with them, and I think it's his choice, right? I've worked for bosses that tried to be very friendly and they were successful. I've had bosses that were not friendly at all, and we still had a good working relationship, and we could achieve a lot of things. So it's personal preference. Maybe he had a past experience at EEI where he got fucked, or even prior to that, or maybe prior to EEI he had
he
good
definitely
experience.
did. We know he did. He got fucked with Jerry and Curtis and all of them. That's
what I'm saying is, prior to EEI, he might have had a good experience with coworkers, which led him to have a good relationship with all the crew on KNC.
Possible.
And then he got burned, and he was like, "Fuck that! I'm not gonna go through that again." And it's totally his choice. You're running a business. You're not running a friends club. So this is one point, right? My second point is that it's about culture as well, right? Like where I come from, everyone's friend. Like you develop friendships with your coworkers, and they become your personal friends. Not all of them, but it's a higher odd than here. So it's a culture thing. So I don't expect people here in the U.S. to be friends, best friends. I don't know why people are so upset and surprised with that. It's like corporate world, and even though KMS is not a corporate world per se, it's three people working, and Kirk is their bosses, right? So stop with the drama. If he doesn't want to be buddies, it's fine. They need to do their job, which is the podcast. They do the podcast.
That's the problem, I think, is exactly what you said. People don't think of KMS or Barstool or any type of media, truthfully, as a corporate job or as anything like that. But ultimately, that's exactly what it is. When Kirk is on the microphone, when Kirk is in the studio, when Steve's in the studio, when Mike, if he comes back, is in the studio, that is the same thing as me going to work. And that there's you can't sugarcoat that. And to me, the people who are saying, we need to be friends. And I just want to also put out there, I think all of us agree, Kevin from Bristol is amazing. We all love him. Like, this is not a criticism of him. But I think that all the people who are sitting there arguing about the fact that Kirk needs to be, really close with Mike and Steve, and they should be best friends, are either people who are very, very young in their careers, or people who haven't really experienced a lot of corporate America, because there's a level of naivety there that how many of your former colleagues that you were close with as work friends, as your careers have gone on, that you regularly stay in touch with and actually have a real relationship with outside of work? And it's minimal at best.
Yeah, there's not that many.
Plus, we don't know what happens behind the scenes, right? Exactly. There's a lot of things that are drama. They may have a good relationship behind. They may go out every once in a while, right? Who knows? But it's not their obligation. Their obligation is to go there in the studio, do a good show, and go back home.
Right.
So
and by the way, also, it's fucking working. Whatever they have right now is fucking working. The show is amazing. We all love it. There's a reason we're all obsessed with it. Why? I can't get my head around anyone who is constantly sitting there saying, "Oh, Mike shouldn't be in the show. Steve shouldn't be in the show." Like, fuck you, Matter. Steve should be the producer. The fucking show is perfect as it is. Why does everyone want it to change? Why, like Mayo with the stupid, let's make it like Kirk and Callahan. Let's make it like Enough About Me. What the fuck? It's great as it is. Just leave it.
The reason is because we all love the show so much. We love where it started and what it's become. And you want to, in an immature way, imagine, oh yeah, they're all buddies. And even though like Kirk will like rant on both of them, and none of them rant back, right?
Yep.
So there is that line. But no, it's not. It's a complete business relationship. Where it's magic is we believe it's a friendship, and it's hey, the three of us get together every day at 7:30 in the morning to shoot the shit and have a good time. No,
one of my
it's
best
entertainment, man.
One of my best managers was someone that I completely hated, and like I look back and the lessons learned that I learned from him and tips, direct tips, because we couldn't communicate, right? It's like he was one of my best managers. So you always need to extract the best out of every opportunity, even if at the moment it doesn't feel like, right? So that's my tip to people. You know, like if you hate your boss or you hate your job, try to get the best out of it until you find something else. But there's always things to learn and improve regardless of the situation.
That's exactly right. And I've had luckily I was young when I had bosses I hated where I could afford to walk off and quit, you know, in an immature temper tantrum on my part.
Right.
Later on when I ran into the bosses, they were, you know, businesslike and professional, but they weren't friends, and they drove you or me to do better and to improve. They weren't like, you know, it's okay, you'll get it again next time. No, you fucked up. You got to fix it, you know. And then you got to say how. And then that's how you develop as an employee, as a person. So
no, totally. And I think that, you know, from my experience, again, like, you know, I have had a lot of bosses and coworkers that I've felt close with. I've had some bosses that, like, we have gone to a point where we were very close, and it crossed that we're friends type of line, where there would be times when then it is awkward, where like, yeah, if I feel so close to my boss that I can text them, you know, on a weekend about a football game, great, that's nice. But how is that gonna be then when I fuck up and my boss, who I have like a nice back and forth where we can make fun of each other, has to come in and actually lay down the law? It's just, there has to be a separation there. You just
it's either that or you know how to divide both work and personal, right?
Yep.
And I think you can do that, but it's hard. Not everyone can achieve that happy medium. But the other thing is,
I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say that this manager I thought was an asshole. I called him a tyrant, and he didn't fire me. You know, like he understood that I was young as well, and he tried to work with me, and then we got to a point where we both moved on. But the thing is, this is different. You know, it's like, hey, you need to work. Stop trying to make Kirk be, you know, Mike's father, or try to make Kirk love him. Right. No, they have a professional relationship, and Kirk has mentioned that many times, that if he didn't like Mike or didn't think Mike brought any value, he wouldn't be there.
Would he be gone? Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So,
okay, before we move on, because I know you guys want to move on, and I understand that.
No, I was gonna say that I would just wish I had a boss that was a cowboy. You know, imagine how cool it is to ride.
I would love to be a gopher for a cowboy.
I know that would be amazing.
Yeah. Hey, before we move on, two quick things. First of all, completely avow and vouch Visionless Dave being #1 Minifan. I have a thing. I think he's one of these people, you meet them every once in a while in your life, where just the sound of his voice and the way he comes off is naturally funny. And I've always thought even before I saw what he looked like, Visionless Dave had the great voice that I always thought was funny. Maybe you guys are different. I don't think so.
No, but I didn't think so either. But then he's been tweeting about it recently, that he's like that he's half Visionless Dave, that he's like half blind like Mike, but he's refers to himself as blind. I don't know.
Who is that?
Oh no, I've not seen that. But he's just I just think he's hysterical, and I love Ziggy too. And I even like Red.
Ziggy's nice. Ziggy's nice.
Yeah,
I met him in Taco. The other guy, I don't know who you're talking about.
But when Kirk's,
I love angry LK.
LK's, he's cranky. He wants to get to bed.
Humorless Dave? What's his name?
No.
Visionless
Fuck that.
Dave.
Fucktard?
So
Fucktard
no.
Dave? Yeah. Never heard.
Hang on, let Ned finish his thought.
So
Sorry.
I just thought it was I was very
No, hold
happy
on.
to see that
He wants to advertise something I've never heard on my show. Fuck that. I don't even know what
Okay.
this guy
Your
is. How
show.
am I going to involve
Ned,
this guy?
Ned, we're on LK's show.
we're talking about the Kirk Minahan show. And the other thing I just want to point out that is, since it was recent, is I was never a Carabas guy, but you know what? He's not bad. I actually
love
enjoyed it.
Carabas. Always
Last
have,
week was
yeah.
good. Today was better. I thought
I
he
told
was
you
really, really
I told
good.
you this last week that
You
he's a
did.
good guy. I like their back and forth, and I just want to, my last statements on anything KMS related is, first of all, I think Carano's done a great job this week. I think it's worked out
absolutely.
really
Sorry.
well. I don't know how he does it, and I've been messaging with him throughout the week, and like I'm a big
Jesus
Carano
Christ,
guy, but
you can't contain yourself, right? You got to message everyone, right?
exactly.
How do you work? How
Well,
do you get your job done?
I need some advice. Well, I said that I fucked up, and my
Jesus.
boss would have to yell at me. No, but I can't imagine how stressful and intimidating it is to just come in and try to fill Steve's shoes for a week.
Yeah.
And he does it, and takes everything in stride, and it's really great. And the
So,
only
you know
and,
what?
and just in summation, I want this as clear as day. I love the show as is. I don't understand why anyone will want to change it. Let's not change it and just leave it.
Let it go.
Stop the fucking bitching.
You know who I like? Murchison's Mouse. He just sent me a DM saying,
Awesome.
I was driving to work today and I laughed to myself as I remembered your cold tweet joke. So see, this is a great guy, Murchison's Mouse.
Yeah, no.
Why does he
He-
hate DEC?
And he likes my jokes. And by the way,
He
all
is a
kidding
great guy.
aside, I know who VD is. He's great. We just have like a private beef going on, but I like him. He's fine. He
Wait, but
doesn't
why-
follow me. He doesn't follow me on Twitter. He stopped following me. I don't know why. So maybe he
What?
follows me back. I'll endorse him here.
Do you know why
Maybe.
Murchison Mouse hates DEC? I've been trying to figure that out.
No, I didn't know he did.
I mean, I know a lot of people hate DEC, but whatever.
No, I didn't know that.
I
he
like
did.
him.
Who?
I like DEC.
Murchison Mouse.
No, who? Who was that one?
Oh, here we go
God.
again. Oh, what?
Moving on.
Two tours. Blah, 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 blah. 3 minutes later. I hope. Moving on.
Look, I
Moving
know
on.
these guys. They're Minna fans. They live up in Maine, and they both veterans.
Yeah.
And-
He won
and-
since you won. Manscaped, make your balls great again. Have you guys tried
God, you
Manscaped?
DC.
I bought a Manscaped. I've never used it. Is it good? Does it make your
I've
balls?
never
never
shaved
used it.
anything like that.
No?
No,
Wait, you've never Manscaped, period, or just like
Nope.
with Manscaped?
fuck no.
So you're like full on bush down there.
Yeah,
Wow.
just not that hairy.
Yeah, maybe you don't have
all
one.
right. Okay.
All right. Anyway, I
All
think
right.
it's a good segue
That's-
for our
There we
next
go.
topic,
Now, yeah,
right?
please, can we move on from that
Good.
subject?
Yeah. So, social media, right? TikTok. Adam, why don't you introduce the topic?
Yes, Adam.
Yeah.
This is
So-
one of your.
Well, yeah. I mean, listen, I'm a big social media guy. I worked at a social media company. I've used social media for work a lot, even when I wasn't there. I, as everyone know, overuse Minifan Twitter. But
Hashtags.
always. But more than anything, I think that in the news recently, there's been a lot of stuff about Trump wanting to shut down TikTok and WeChat and other Chinese social media networks. Also, there's just been a bunch of other news that has just come out sporadically, like Facebook and YouTube this week reached a deal with advertisers on how to manage hate speech. YouTube had a issue with needing to be responsible for mental health issues that come from their videos and things that are seen. So I guess for me, it's just always an interesting conversation to go into. What are the evils of social media and its impact on society today? I mean, there's a lot that we can point to that's negative. I'll point to a lot of it that's positive, and I think I think the positive overshadows the negative. But Ned, you're the
Stop
elder
going on a
statesman,
fucking
so I'd
tangent.
love
Stop
to hear
going
from
on a
someone
fucking
who
tangent
doesn't.
and bring the topic.
I'm not. Fuck him, man. Jeez, angry LK.
And you're breaking. Your internet
I was
sucks.
about to make fun of. Listen, I was about to make fun of Ned for being old.
Being old and hairy.
Yeah, well,
No,
hairless,
hairless.
but
Hairless, yeah.
yeah, exactly.
You wanna-
But Ned, you probably remember
Listen,
the
I'm the
world
only
before
one that
social
stands
media
up
better than us.
and tell someone to suck it, okay?
There you go.
That's true.
No, but Ned, you are the only one of us that can probably really remember, many years in the days
chiseling
before
into a rock,
social media.
like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I mean, so feel free to start the stage. Do you like social media? Its impact on society? How do you view it?
Well, there's no question. Of course, it's had a huge impact on society back for.
Of course, Adam, it had an
10
impact
years,
on society. Come on.
Yeah. The I think it started out much more promising and because I used to be really into tech until I moved to Maine, and then I had to drop out because I had to focus on another business, and it was kind of like a hobby. When I came back, like in 2009, the world had changed, right? And I saw that social media, and it was pre-Facebook, right? It was interesting, and it was a way of
infancy.
It really, right? And it was a way, like my older daughter was on it. My younger one wasn't. We didn't have smartphones, right? Nobody had smartphones then. They weren't invented yet. And I think I've said this, told the story before. Twitter used to be, I thought, the most promising, fantastic way of communicating instant news. And that's when I first got on Twitter. I followed all the major global news agencies, and I was getting it much faster through Twitter than I was on like the television, for example. And I thought it was fantastic. And then I think, like, I don't know, 2013, 14, 15, it just started to change. And I just started noticing more of a negativity in what you're seeing because of the anonymity. Now, granted, I dropped Facebook as well because I saw Facebook changing too. And I'm like, this is kind of dumb. I'm a grown man. What the hell do I need Facebook for? Gone. And if you notice, most businesses do have a Facebook presence, but they kind of bypassed Facebook.
Yeah. I think also, so if you think about
if I liked it or not.
we'll get that. But see if you agree with this point. Social media started between 2002 2004, right? And if you look at it, we got to a point where it influenced a whole generation already, right?
Yes.
This is a given, right? And to your point of anonymity, I think it amplifies the keyboard warriors and anonymity and all that. And it's a whole generation that got impacted by that. And now they feel like they can do that, right? For the good and for the bad. So your take, I think it's bad. You talked about that, right? You don't think social media is a good influence.
No, well, I think I would, and in complete transparency, and I'm one to do it because I try to stay, I'm not anymore, but I try to stay anonymous. I think if you had people had more responsibility to say what they mean as themselves, it might be better. I just think the anonymity, the eggs, or these call them, the Twitter eggs and stuff with, 6 followers, you can just barrage people with stuff.
That's
the negativity.
That's from the past.
Yeah. Well, I know they're gone now, but I mean, I'm talking about it's just saying the anonymity of someone with a small amount of followers can cause a lot of problems and stress, especially to younger people. Yep. So and that's because there's no, call it free speech. I call it kind of like punching from behind around a corner. Like, you're not going to get caught. It's just not, I don't think it's fair, to be honest. I don't think it's right.
So bringing back to the agreed upon topic, right, which is TikTok being acquired or being blocked in the US, right? We all know about the impact of social media, good or bad, right? But TikTok's the social media of the moment, right? The one that grows the most. And I know TikTok since they were Musical.ly. I don't know if you guys had heard of that or had used. My younger stepdaughters, they use that all the time, right? Musical.ly, and it was very much an app that you could dub songs, right? And that was pretty much it. And then all of a sudden, this company that nobody had ever heard about called ByteDance bought Musical.ly, and they happened to be from China. And then it became TikTok. I believe they had TikTok, but they only used the name from the previous platform, and then bought Musical.ly and then just replaced the name. But it became this success, this huge success, and it's all attributed to the machine learning algorithms, right? The matchmaking of content producers to whoever is watching that, right? So this algorithm is really at stake right now. And for those who don't know, Trump have a mandate that either ByteDance sells US and a few other countries operations to an American company or
Right.
one of the
Oracle
allies?
and Walmart.
Oracle.
Oracle and Walmart are the ones who are
Yeah.
Well,
slated
I was
by it.
gonna get there, but anyway.
Well, you've been
Or-
talking for 20 minutes. What the fuck,
Or
Swan?
or is he gonna shut down the? Listen, not everyone may know about the history, you know,
Yeah.
and the background.
The viewers.
Anyway,
Go on.
they either
History books
get
and tell it
acquired by someone that is not China, or
Right.
Trump is gonna shut down access to TikTok, right? Then Microsoft was the first one interested, and now apparently Oracle and Walmart are. And then from what I hear, Oracle is gonna buy it.
That's how it
and
was Oracle. No.
I definitely don't understand the strategy for Oracle. It makes no sense, and they're probably going to fuck up the platform. However, I was reading that ByteDance was like, "Fuck it, we're not going to sell anymore. Fuck it," you know.
Yeah.
And
China's threatening
in
out
parallel, let me just put let me just finish the scenario here. Then you guys can talk. In parallel, a lot of people are protesting because the audience of TikTok are young people, right?
Yeah.
They have a lot of exposure, and they're like, "Fuck Trump," because if he ends TikTok, I'm fucked. So even young people that might have been pro-Trump are now like, "Hey, fuck this guy." So what did Trump do? If you guys saw it, he changed the due date for after the elections, right? So there's this whole politics / intelligence war between U.S. and China going on, and then you guys can talk about it.
But here's the first of what fascinates me, just truly fascinates me, is people who still complain about privacy issues in 2020. I mean, at this point, it don't realize that every single app on your phone, every single website you go to, everything you opt into in your life, you are giving up all your private information. If you don't accept that at this point, then just go off the grid, because everything out there. So the idea of China having all of our data, it's already there. So to me, the idea of cutting and shutting it down is dumb, and I agree. Like I think it's overstepping, and I don't think China's going to allow it through anyways. They've already threatened not to. But to what's interesting, LK, and you mentioned this in the end, when the stars, quote unquote, the TikTok stars, they are really like they're so pissed about this. But on the flip side, this has happened before, and all of them have found other places to go, right? Like Vine, right? Do you remember Vine? Vine was TikTok back in the day. Everyone was obsessed with it. 16 seconds, 8 seconds, whatever it was. Quick videos. Everyone was obsessed with it. There were stars that came out of that. And in the end, everyone complained, there's no way we'll ever be able to make our money back. What are you doing? You're killing this industry, the advertisers. And then they moved to YouTube. Then they moved to TikTok. It'll be something else. So all of the idea that, we can't shut it down because it's going to screw over all these people is stupid to me.
But it's different.
It's going to happen again.
It's different because it's the same thing that you say is let's shut down Facebook. It's so rooted with this generation that TikTok cannot be gone. It's the same thing for me to say, oh, let's shut down Facebook, and I use Facebook a lot. I cannot see my life without Facebook because that's how I communicate with my family.
Yeah, but this is how everything goes with social media and the internet. Everyone bitches and cries anytime there's an algorithm change, anytime there's a UI change, anytime anything happens, and then they adapt. And 2 weeks later, they won't remember what they had before.
I agree with your point if it was like a secondary, tertiary kind of platform, but TikTok's kind of in the middle right now. It's a core platform.
All they have to do is pull the China connection out of it. So whoever gets it, that's all they have to do. Just like Huawei and WeChat, Huawei phones and WeChat. If it's Chinese produced, the Chinese government has access to it, or else it wouldn't have been produced. Period. That's the whole problem. So all they can do is just whatever they're going to do if they sell it, or however the platform is. If there's a back door, the worry is the back door of whoever they sell it to, that the Chinese programmers still have access to it.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree. I just don't think.
I think it's silly though. The vanity in it is, people. You see them now; they're throwing babies and shit. And it's like,
but here's the thing,
fuck
right?
is wrong with people?
India just did that. I think they prohibited TikTok there, and then an Indian company just started their own TikTok version of it.
Yeah,
exactly.
But here's the thing:
why don't we steal from China from once?
I know, but here's the problem, right? The algorithm is not easy to develop, and that's the whole IP behind it. Like China is not no slave workers anymore. They have smart people developing smart shit.
Oh, yeah,
So-
of course.
So like I think even if Oracle
They
gets
stole it from someone.
even if Oracle gets the customer, I don't think they're getting the source code.
Okay.
I think they're just
Right.
getting the customer base. So they would have to work on something. So I don't know.
If they don't get the source code, then what are they buying? The customer base, and then
I
what?
think
Develop
so.
a new TikTok? No,
yeah. I
no,
don't
you
know.
need the source
Yeah, I don't
code.
think that
Even
works.
I know
But,
that.
Yeah, they have to be in the source code.
I would be very surprised if China gives the whole thing.
I
would
mean,
be
they're
very
not going to.
surprised.
They're just not going to. Even if they agree to the sale, they'll give them the source code and then
Exactly. There's a
hide
backdoor. Yep.
a big
Yep.
chunk of it or something. Yeah, it'll be
All they
something.
need is a little bit, just a little bit of space, and they'll come back in for you. All
Yeah.
right, cool. So we solved the TikTok problem.
I don't know. I think there's more that's gonna happen than what we see. I think there's gonna be a lot of legal battles, and I think if Biden wins, they may not even need to sell it.
They won't sell it at
Oh,
all.
for
So
sure not.
I think this is not done yet, and this might be why Microsoft pulled out of the deal.
Yeah. But that's also a big
Uh,
if Biden
Possible
moves.
too.
Yeah. So anyway, I think it only shows, and I agree with you, Adam. It only shows how, first of all, we get addicted and dependent on a platform, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And how content creators do not diversify, right? Because if you get someone like
Right.
Gary Vee, right, he's in all platforms because he said, if one shuts down, I still have my customer base in
Yep.
the other ones. And those content creators, they are not content creators; they're just stupid kids, right? They dance, do their stuff, and then they are on TikTok, and that's it.
Yep.
TikTok closes,
Yep.
they're fucked. So
Yep.
they need
Or
to
are they? Because
diversify.
again, they'll adapt. The ones who act.
Or there'll be
but
another
that's,
one.
But that's right. But that's also where you see who has something. I hate to use the word talent because a guy like Logan Paul, who came from Vine to YouTube, doesn't have. I don't think he's talented, but
No,
whatever.
he's not talented.
But
But he's
there's
smart.
something there.
He's
But
smart.
Smart.
exactly,
Right,
it's
right,
the people
right.
who can adapt, and
Yes.
that's how you whittle it down. It's the Darwinism of viral society in the sense that
Uh,
it goes from
yep.
if you can
There we go.
adapt to the next phase and to the next
Sure.
era, that's how you build your empire, and that's how
I-
you get money.
I talk to my stepdaughters and I say, why don't you use Instagram? They're like, why Instagram? It's picture. And Instagram has a feature like TikTok.
Yes, they do.
Nobody
Yeah.
fucking uses it,
Yeah, they do.
because the platform has already established themselves as a fucking picture and
Correct.
filter platform, right?
Yep.
So it's not
What's
as
it
easy.
called?
It's not as easy, So like TikTok found a niche that it's going to be very hard to compete and or replace.
Yep.
That's my point.
Yeah. Yeah. It's IGTV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, IGTV is not.
No,
that.
yeah,
It's
that's-
called Reels.
And it's Reels too. That's right.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. IGTV is just right.
Holding them up.
Look at Nat. He has Instagram. What's your Instagram, Nat?
Love it.
Give to people. No.
Different name.
Personal?
Anonymous.
All right. Cool. All right. So
Anonymous.
anything else?
Following all those
media?
models, I have to be anonymous. Come on.
Anonymous mustachioed man.
Exactly. Oh, that's going, by the way. This has got to go. Sorry,
Well, talking
Brian.
about
Brian Prison Mike. This is going. We had it for too long.
leading edge technologies. We just came across an article, right? Or Adam did. He did legwork for this episode. He came
What has
across
to
this
work,
article,
Joe?
right? About what the California requiring everyone to have an electric vehicle by 2035. Is that it?
2035. Yeah.
Right. And I think we are all on the same side of the argument here in the thought. So I thought it would be good to bring someone that has actually a fucking electric vehicle and can give his point of view, right? So Justin, bring Phil in. And what's up, Phil? How you doing, man?
What's up, Phil?
Good. How are you?
Good. So
What are you playing? What are you watching?
I'm doing that. All right. So wait. Everyone says that I always play fucking video games during the show, and
Yeah.
it's like a
We're
bit.
over
Like,
here,
I
Phil.
tend
Look
to,
into the
you know?
camera.
I have two monitors, so I look at my primary and then my
Yeah.
webcam is to the side. I don't really.
Yep.
So Phil actually reached out and said, "Hey, I have an EV. You want my point of view?" I was like, "Sure," because we'll probably all criticize. So it's good.
Yeah, I mean, I like any other electric vehicle owner that I've come across in my like brief time owning one is we like talking about electric vehicles. It's like just something to talk about. There's a lot going on with it. And a lot of people are interested in getting into the that type of vehicle. But yeah, I mean, what was the?
So what made you buy? What made you buy one? Let's start with that.
We brought Phil in for this.
Well, I mean, the biggest thing,
issue is California.
We'll get there. We'll get there, man. I want to know why he bought one. I think it's part of the process, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, the biggest thing that made it, I think something that I wanted to do was first off the federal and the state tax credit. That was huge.
Right.
I think it brought down the price it brought it down almost 10 grand, and that was it's a Honda, so it's not very expensive. So we negotiated down, got that. And then also my general commute was, at least when I first bought the car, was just on campus. I was just driving from my apartment to somewhere. I'm not going to reveal where I go to school, but there's a couple spread out campuses, right? That are all one campus. And one of them specifically has a place to charge at. And I could park there, charge up, and then I could just walk somewhere else. And my car would be fully ready to go. And the range was it's actually a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle. So it's
okay.
It's got 47 miles of just solely electric range, and it has about a 320 mile gas radius. So it still has a gas tank.
Yeah.
And I mean the miles per gallon is great. It's really everything I wanted in just a daily driver car. It's not. I'm not really a car guy. I like the tech. I like the comfort. I just kind of wanted something that would last me a while.
And this is what I was gonna ask. So it's a hybrid, right? It's like the Chevy Volt. Right, they had
exactly
gas tank and okay, cool. And so how much? What's the mileage? Would you say? Do you know
miles per gallon or
miles per gallon?
I don't know, but generally, I mean, I can fill. I don't know the MPG, but there's probably a number you can look up, Adam, if you're doing that.
That's literally what I'm doing. Electric gas, about 110 miles per gallon.
Right.
Yeah. So I pay $12 to fill up the tank, and that lasts me 2 or 3 weeks, and I never have to. I don't even have to fill it up after that. Yeah.
How about?
Sorry, 42 miles per gallon.
That was a little high. I was going to say.
I was going to say, I think it's kind of weird because there's two different modes, right? Sometimes you're just only using electric, sometimes you're using gas, so it's difficult.
And how about access to the network? For charging and all. Do you have any problems?
In Mass, absolutely great. There's no issues. You can always find a free charger. The one closest to me currently just changed to paid, but I just went on the app and found a different one that's free, and I just go to that now. It's not big of an issue.
In full transparency, I actually was going to buy a PHEV car for my next car because I was my office was about 40 miles from my house each way, and just obviously now I'm working from home, but we had charging stations in the office. So there was a whole row of them.
Most buildings do.
Yeah. So because of that, I didn't have an issue with it. But I do know a bunch of people who bought Teslas, for example, and they've had to add to their house and to their electric bill and everything else home charging.
You don't have to.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to.
It's an option.
Right.
The finesse way around that is finding the free chargers, and obviously the hassle of that is you have to drive out there and then you have to find some way to occupy your time, right? Versus charging at home, you just charge overnight or whatever, but you're paying for that electricity.
So I remember when I was looking at the Volt 4 years ago, there was only 4 seats because the middle one was where the battery was, right? It was all the way across. How is it with Honda? Do you have the 3 seats in the back, or does the battery?
It's the car is pretty much almost the same as a Civic in the interior. It's pretty much equivalent space wise, maybe a little bit bigger, but the battery is no issues. It is a really, really heavy car though. That is which is not necessarily a bad thing if you get into an accident, but that does slow it down. Yeah, it is. Justin says the size of an Accord. It is. It's pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. All right. So Adam, walk us through the California thing, and then it's good to have Fuel's perspective on that as well.
So yeah, I mean, there's a lot that I think is still needs to be clarified here. But I mean, it stood out to me is because we talked about California wildfires and blackouts a few weeks ago, and how overloaded their electric infrastructure is as it is, that it can't even stand up to what they have now.
Yeah.
And so to say that in 14 years by 2035, because it's basically 14 years at this point, we're closer to 2021 than not, that they will have that the new order that was set by the governor states that new gas cars are banned from being sold by 2035. So let's just use 2035 as the actual date. And that means that in 14 years, they'll have to upgrade their current infrastructure to be able to just get to where they're at now. Then upgrade it even further to be able to adapt to a crazy amount of new charging stations that'll need to be put in. The fact that a lot of homeowners will opt to have their own charging stations. And then there's also the issue of what happens with the gas stations, what happens with the auto industry. I am very curious to see the auto industry's response to this, if they're going to fight against this, if they were involved and consulted throughout the whole process. But that's where it really jumped out to me, is what, how feasible they're going to do this, especially because of it is expensive to buy a pure hybrid vehicle. And I know Tesla's announced today that they're working on a $25,000 car, but it's Elon Musk, so that probably won't happen for another 20 years. But it's just, to me, it feels like a pandering move by the governor to just sign something that he knows isn't going to actually happen in 15 years.
And he won't be around for.
Yeah,
correct.
And one of the justifications was that they were taking a step forward into helping with the problem, which is not true, right? Because if they cannot produce enough electricity right now, how are they going to do that? In 14 years.
Yep.
That's my issue.
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry. So with the order, are they banning like just gas only cars, or like will a plug-in hybrid, for example, like will that be considered an electric vehicle? Because they'll have, like, I know like BMW, like across their range, you can buy almost all of their cars now with like a 20-mile or a 30-mile range electric battery. So I did see the order. I did not see.
That remains to be seen, right? They have 14 years to figure it out, I guess.
Yeah.
From how I gathered it, it was all gas and also only new cars. So like Matt from Providence jokingly commented on Twitter about how the used car market's going to skyrocket, and I think that it will.
Good point.
Well, and it's like people used to do in Rhode Island, right? They would buy diesel car there and then transfer to Massachusetts because then it wasn't new anymore, right? Because Mass doesn't allow diesel cars. But I think
I was going to say the problem with the whole lure. Everyone wants a greener planet, right? We all want to do our part. I would love to get a Tesla, but if I'm compelled, you need a carrot and a stick. So the tax incentives are absolutely vital. In Europe, they were giving like 50% rebates on Teslas, 10 years ago, and now you see them all over the place. Especially if you use them for a commercial vehicle, like an Uber driver or something. But in this country, we do it by states. So it really takes. I would prefer, a bigger carrot and a smaller stick. Give me some tax incentives, help make it cheaper, and then give me a deadline as to when I got to get rid of my other gas car. Right. But in the meantime, hopefully, they're getting less tax revenue, right? So that does hurt.
Well,
but in the meantime,
no rates anymore, right? That's the problem. There's no incentives in.
That's right. But I'm saying that hopefully in the 14 years that California has, and by the way, I don't have any faith this will happen, but they will be making the investment into the infrastructure, into the grid. I mean, they get most of the power from the Colorado River, from the Hoover Dam. So, but I see there's a lot of wind and solar. They need to pick it all up if they're going to be able to deliver on what they're promising of, having electric, because there's no other way to do it unless you put in your own, windmill.
Right. Phil, what are your thoughts right now? If so yours is a hybrid, but if you had a purely electric vehicle, do you think that, we currently, obviously you're Massachusetts, so it's not, the same, but do you think that the infrastructure is easy enough to maintain that you could live your life, road trips, just your everyday life, everything that you would do with your car with an electric vehicle?
I mean, it really depends on the vehicle specifically, I think, because a lot of the new Teslas are getting like 500, 600-mile range, which is a lot if you're trying to road trip, right? And that's more than enough range to find another supercharger or whatever along the way, because Tesla's infrastructure is fairly built out. But the problem is the other manufacturers, right? They're the way that they're doing it is they're all investing in their own sort of vehicles that are like electrifying America, quote unquote. And they're not really all working together to set
That's
up
a problem.
unified
right.
charging
You need a-
stations. They're
you need
all
a
trying to
common-
make their money out separately.
So the adapters are
That
not the
sucks.
same.
That pisses me off. I didn't know that.
I
That's so
thought the
fucking
adapters were
stupid.
the same.
No.
Right?
So the ports will work, right? Like everything will work on every car, but
Oh.
there's like rather than like working together and speeding up the process of building out charging stations.
Okay.
They're all kind of making their own, right? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's not.
I
They're
thought
just
you were
not
talking
working
about
together in
there'd
that
be-
sense.
I thought it'd be
No,
different
that-
adapters. Okay,
yeah,
good.
So
That should be fine. That's
one
pretty
thing
much
that
standard.
worries me is they are removing my right of freedom, right? Come and go,
Yeah.
because if I go, and I don't know if you experienced that, Phil, but to me, maybe I'm old school, but if I want to go and just fill up my car and then 5 minutes later get out of there, I won't be able to do that anymore. I will have to go to a freaking charging station and wait for at least half an hour. So to me, this is kind of something that I cannot, understand. And maybe like Phil, because you go to school, right? And there's chargers there. So maybe you charge between classes. It's not of a problem. But
Exactly.
I remember when I worked, I was working in Cambridge, and my former boss, he lived in New Hampshire, and he was like, hey, here's the fucked up thing. The next Tesla charger near my house is in an exit that's only on the other side of the road. So I need to go up, get to the other side, go down and charge.
Yeah.
And if I don't have enough battery, I'm fucked.
Right.
So he was always living on the edge.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So this freedom of come and go is what kind of bothers me a little bit. It might not be a problem in 30 years, in 14 years.
Well,
But it's something that worries me a little bit.
I read this recently too, that Tesla's developing the speed charger, where you can actually charge it through the tire friction on the road, so that you can do the road. That was my concern. Commuting to and from an office would be awesome, and it's great. I know a lot of people in my headquarters have that, and it's fantastic. But like you, LK, I pack up the family, the dog, we drive to Maine, and I do it in one night or one overnight. You do the same thing. You come down. So it's like you can't do it with today's technology right now. You cannot do it with an electric car.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Right. It's also,
but it's coming.
I mean, the only other thing that I was going to say is that it's also, I mean, obviously, it's not going to impact gas stations right away because everyone will still have gas powered cars, assumedly at that time. But it's the first step towards ending a industry and taking people's livelihoods away from them by saying we're going to make gas stations obsolete. Maybe it'll be another 15 years, another 20 years after that, but it's still taking that first huge step to getting to a point where you're telling people you're not going to have a job down the road, and I hope you're planning on changing career paths.
Yeah, but that's part of life.
Well,
industries change all the time. Phil's a kid. He doesn't have when he goes into the work world, it's not going to be the same as it was now.
Hey, this is not me selling tell. If you want to talk, you can talk, okay?
But Phil's been talking more on this show than he has on his own show.
That's true. Like I said, I like to talk about electric cars. It's just something. It's really interesting and very niche. One thing that I want to add though, real quick.
Let him talk, Adam.
Get him to talk more.
Ned, you're talking about the regeneration technology with the tire pressure. I didn't see that. That's actually pretty neat. But right now the Teslas have the regen braking, which is just, it does not really add like significant power to the battery. It's just kind of giving it like minimal, like you're not using your power, you're using the power that you've generated based on braking. But the cool thing is with plug-in hybrid electric vehicles, you can actually like entirely switch the gas engine to recharge the electric battery. So you can, while you're rolling on the highway, you create enough energy to power the battery up. So whenever I'm on the highway or anything like that, I just put it in charge mode, use the gas engine, because it's more efficient doing it that way than using all of my range going 65, 75, whatever, right? But yeah, it will be interesting to see how they kind of work on the concept of regenerating the power, or even like LK was saying, like it takes 20 minutes to charge now, but in like 20 years, it might take 5 minutes to get half your battery, right? Like with iPhones and everything, you get the quick charge. But batteries are they're still, evolving. Batteries are pretty broken technology at the moment. They're kind of just designed to stop working. And
And just one last thing though. I was also reading too. They were also thinking of putting. I'm sorry, just quick. and it was Tesla with their batteries, with the solar charge as well, along the outside edges and on the roof of the car as well.
Hyundai as well as all their new EVs
Yeah.
will be coming out with solar on the top. Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw that. I mean, it's interesting. Like it won't add very much, to the battery, but it will help a little bit. Like if you're just parked all day out in the sun,
Yeah.
right? If you're charging
Correct.
at the same time as
Well,
getting the solar going. I mean,
Yep.
It may give you that 5
you drive-
minutes that you that
Yeah,
that
you need
extra
to
mileage
get-
that you need to
Yeah.
get to the
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Exactly. But
Exactly.
the with the friction regen, I worked on a company that I worked with a company that like going on 10 years ago was working on friction regen, and so I just don't buy that it's actually gonna happen anytime soon, just because I can't. I've just been hearing about it too long, and anything that Tesla says, like I said before, I just assume it's Elon Musk just being Elon Musk. But so Phil, is there? So you mentioned the price and the gas mileage and your driving needs, but was there any environmental thoughts to you getting this, or is this just really?
I mean,
all the other factors. And honestly,
yeah, like I mean, I'm a younger guy, right? So we grew up like being taught that you want to save the environment and take care of the environment, whatever. So it wasn't like a huge deciding factor because I mean, any of the other Honda models at that period of time were pretty good.
Yeah.
When it comes to the emissions and things like that, right? It's not like I was deciding between this and like a Ford F-350 or something, right? But like, yeah. So I guess the short answer, no. Short answer, I was not really thinking about the environment. I was thinking more, hey, this is cool for me. Like this will help me out a lot with my commute, and it'll save me some money, right?
Yeah.
But I think that's the way to get people into it, right? That's the way to get people into buying.
And it is good that absolutely, and it's good that it'll be able to help maintain cowboy ranches and the gophers that live in the cowboy ranches, that they'll be able to go for their stuff and be able to put on hats.
Talk about the horsepower.
Horsepower.
A lot of horsepower. Lots of new horses being born. Just cowboy stuff, man. Cowboy stuff.
Yeah.
Really good.
So here's the thing. Just to debunk Adam's comment before about gas stations, people losing jobs, right? Almost every single gas station in the U.S. is self-service. So there's nobody working on the freaking
I know, not anymore.
gas station. It's only
Except
the convenience store.
And I was going to say, you don't live in New Jersey.
Hold on.
You don't live in New Jersey.
Hold on. You can replace the gas pumps with electrical shit and just pay someone to go and plug for you, which you don't need, right? So I think the main money or the main revenue generator, or one of them, is the convenience store, right? And I think they could still make money off the electricity that they were gonna offer to the customer. So I don't think,
especially if it's fast. If it's fast charging, I would definitely pay more for the faster charging. Right?
I don't think that's gonna be a end of a what do you say? An end of a the whole market, industry. Yes, it's not gonna be. However, when Phil was talking about when Phil was talking about they will have to invest in infrastructure, that's where something sparked on my head that it's probably gonna be a government agency overseeing all of this, right? And you know what that means? A lot of money going here and there, budgets, a lot of people getting rich, which is not going to be the population, right? California, very democratic and liberal state, very, Cuba, Venezuelan, thoughts there, where state needs to manage everything. So that just sparked my thought for a second.
That's a good spot.
And that's what worries me now is all the money that they're gonna, try to spend to make this happen.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to put that out there.
They already are, I think. I mean, like all the towns, at least, especially in Mass, all the towns that have the chargers, they all have them because they're saving money somewhere from the state, right? It's not like they just willingly, like they were thinking about their people who have electric cars. They're also receiving the benefits from the state.
Depending on where you live in Massachusetts, you guys are probably in the east. But if you live out in Central Mass, let's say you lived in the Worcester area, you can go park here. You can charge your car for free.
Yeah,
at the airport. Plug right in.
No, but what I'm saying, they will probably create like a MassDOT, the private transport station here. They'll probably do something similar for overseeing that infrastructure of electricity, and it's a whole freaking company paid by Texas. Right? So that's my worry. It's like the machine they're gonna create to
And they
oversee
will.
this.
And they will. Yep.
Lots of money.
Yeah, exactly.
Lots of money.
That's my point.
Lots of union money. Yep. Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Comes
Exactly.
Taxes are gonna
that's my point.
skyrocket.
But and my third point is, and then I'll shut up. Is
He was falling
the-
asleep. Remember, Adam? He was going. He wanted to go to bed.
No,
I know.
You guys got me excited.
Started this.
Remember when we talked about this in the UK, right? And there, the population, the companies were like, the government makes these laws, and they don't think about the rest.
Yeah.
The infrastructure as is is almost we're at a point that we cannot, generate what's needed to increase the capacity or put the strain on the infrastructure. It's going to be impossible, and it's not an easy process to build that infrastructure to support more, electricity. You're talking about high voltage cables that are not cheap, and you need to actually construct and pass them along the route. So it's tough.
The lithium batteries are still inherently dangerous to a degree.
Yeah.
Right. So you got to be careful. They can spontaneously combust. They're not allowed on aircraft.
And what happens if they don't get as far as they claim they will with the regen, and there are mass power outages? What's going to happen if you can't recharge? If
That's
there's
why-
a
that's why
storm that comes
California is-
through and knocks out all of your powers,
Well,
what do you
right.
do?
Yeah.
Phil, how about girls? The girls like electric
Just
cars?
say that. I mean, it's not mine specifically. Like it looks all right. I mean, I like it because it's got like the Audi like Sportback look, like where the trunk is kind of So it's got like the Sportback kind of a look to the back, and it's nice and wide, so it's cool looking. But I mean, the trick to get the ladies is you come to a red light, right? And then you just hit the gas, and you get the jump off. Like, oh my god!
So there's a sexiness. There's a
quietly
sexiness.
sneak up on them.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's a cool party trick. It's a cool party trick for anybody, not even just fucking 20-year-old chick.
What's your next car? Would your next car be also electric or hybrid?
I don't know. I think it would. I think I'm leaning towards electric just because I like Teslas. I like a lot of the stuff that they're putting out. But I don't know. It depends. You can
I
see
want
where
a
we're
Tesla
at.
so bad.
At the point, next point,
look
the other one too.
I'm sorry, Phil. Forgive our host. He's annoyed. You talked for like 20 minutes uninterrupted. Now he's like, let's wrap it up.
Listen.
Let's wrap it up.
Listen. Hold on.
We got a Minsel on here. I want questions.
You guys, before we start recording, say, hey, can you make sure we are on track and we don't go over an hour? I'm doing this. I'm saying let's wrap fucking up because it's gonna hit
He's
an
just
hour
making
mark.
up stories right now.
Adam,
Ned.
he's outright lying.
He's
actually.
making that up. Yeah.
God, Lord.
Wow.
We got an
Benner's
Minsel.
told him he needed to be more combative.
Minsel. Hey.
Minsel.
No, but
Keep talking. Go.
no, it's fine. Listen, we've got a few more minutes before my wife comes in and starts yelling at me again. But no, I mean, I think that there's, I think ultimately 14 years sounds like a really long time, but I think you're right, LK, with what you're saying, that it's actually not, and it's not enough time to do everything they need to do and to fund it and to make it happen. So, I mean, I guess in conclusion, I would say that I think with us and Phil, I think you kind of are to a point. Also agree that there's still ways to go in order to make this happen. If it can happen and it can work great, and it actually can be done in a way that is passable, great, let's do it. But it just seems so far fetched.
Right
Phil,
now,
I think you have to. Sorry, I think you have to double that time that they're quoting, the 15 years, 14 years, whatever. I think you got to look like 30, 40 maybe, and then maybe you'll be a lot closer. But I mean, 15 years, they're definitely going to have to re-look at this, whatever they passed and adjust from there based on where the technology is.
But you know what, Phil? In my opinion, if they had picked another state, a better state, they could do it in 15 years. If they would
Mass,
say,
probably, yeah.
Well, right.
Mass is already built out for the most part.
You have to do right. That's true, but you'd also have to do the right population mix as well. So you don't want to have a state.
Low
California,
density.
right? How many people are in California? I mean, I don't know. A lot.
A ton. Yep.
It's like the wrong state. I mean, do Vermont first. Something like that.
Although, in all fairness, now that California is doing it, that other left-leaning states.
Oh yeah,
are gonna do it
everyone.
anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I mean, you will have those states that'll be able to do it. But yeah.
So
Either
Phil,
way,
quick question. Let me ask a question, Phil. Are
I
you
was gonna wrap it up for
one
you,
of
okay.
those? Are you one of those guys that when in the highway stay behind a truck just like with the aerodynamics, safe battery, or not?
No. What I do is I go in the left lane. I go as fast as I possibly can, and then I let go of the gas and let it regen when we're going downhill. And then I keep doing that over and over again. But the thing is, too, right? Especially in Mass, the stadies don't do shit about electric cars. There's like some sort of there's some sort of like agreement or something. Because I've flown by these guys and they have not. I've not been pulled over once yet. And then also it's really easy to not get pulled over because you hit the regen brake and it cuts like 5-10 miles per hour almost instantly. So if you're coming up on like 495, right, you see the U-turn sign, right? Okay, you come up on that, you see that, you just tap the regen. It's on the paddles, right? So instead of paddle shifters, the regen goes through that. So you hit it once and it'll just kind of slow down instantly. Nice and natural. It looks really natural. Yeah.
Paddles, I love
it.
Really
nice. It's really nice.
Well, listen, Phil, thanks so much for joining. We appreciate it. It's nice to actually hear you getting the platform to speak.
Thanks, man. Thanks for coming in.
Right? You guys talk over me a lot less than my co-host.
Maybe you should join our show, man.
Maybe. We're afraid of you, Phil. But, seriously, it was really good for you to come on. Thanks a lot.
Yeah,
I can see now the bedroom more clear. You know,
you got everything.
You're
I know. Now that we know you're not playing games and actually paying attention, it's kind of nice.
Yeah. My PS4 controller is off as proof.
There we go.
Do you have? Did you get the pre-order?
No, I did not. I think I'm gonna wait. I think I'm gonna wait a little bit. Usually Black Friday they'll run some kind of they'll have more stock and they'll run some kind of a deal.
And on that note, good night. Hope all is well. Phil, thanks for jumping in.
Howdy,
Thank
folks.
you, Phil. Thanks very much.
We'll see you next week.
Thanks for having me.